Hello Speedway fans and welcome to the TWW Workwear Cairns International Speedway Top 10 Highlights of the 2022 season. I'm Alex Loughton from Power Forward Media alongside Nathan Nado Ramm, our infield commentator here in Cairns. Nathan, welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be back here one more time for 2022 after a spectacular season of racing.
It really was. Now, what stood out for you in broad terms? What stood out about the racing in this season as opposed to other seasons? But what stood out for you at Cairns?
Just the competitiveness. It's been one hell of a year. We've had bigger numbers than we've ever seen in the last few years. And I tell you what, it really brought out the competitive side of these boys and girls racing here.
Now, you've had a chance to work alongside some of the greats, Ryan Harris during the Thunder in the Cane Fields, as well as Steve McCulloch. What are some of the things that you've taken from their vast reservoir of commentating skills? What have you learnt this year?
Obviously, being very green, it was great to work with both these guys this year. The two things I've probably taken away the most is how much they engage with the crowd and get the crowd involved, and then also the drivers. They know every single driver, know their age, know their number, how long they've been racing. So they're the two things I've probably taken away this year, and I'm going to work on over the next few years. Fantastic.
Well, we really enjoyed the way you've evolved over this year, and certainly bringing those guys in certainly fast-tracked your career in terms of commentating. So we're looking forward to next year and what you can bring, and certainly driving this brand forward at Cairns.
Yeah, I was definitely very spoiled. It was fantastic.
All right, so let's get into it. The top 10 highlights of season 2022, starting at number 10. Now, this is a class that we didn't see late in the season, but certainly played a big feature in the front half of the year. So, Mick Andrews, Wingless sprints. He really dominated throughout those first few meets.
Yeah, it was good to see the Wingless make a return here to the Cairns Speedway. And yeah, like you said, Mick Andrews definitely took that top step of the podium a few times and established himself as the guy to beat in our 6-cylinder Wingless sprints.
All right, so May 28th feature win for Mick Andrews. June 24th and June 25th took out feature race wins. He's won 3 out of 4 feature races throughout the Wingless sprint.
Yeah, he was there in the end, but first one across that checkered flag. So you know what they say, got to be consistent and be in it to win it.
Let's check out some of his best results from the year 2022 for Mick Andrews.
Feature race about to get underway, 15 laps of journey, and off we go. Andrews and Zach Howe banging wheels through 1 and 2. Opens the door for Brett Hare, who comes up into position number 2 now. Zach Howe comes back at Hare on the bottom. The car's a little free. Oh, Zach Howe pushes up the racetrack. Hare right behind him to get the job done here. It'll be 10 to run here. Your leader's in back markers now. Andrews over the cushion. We're side by side. Zach Howe rides the wheel. It's closing, but he could run out of time here. It'll be 2 laps left to run this time for Mick Andrews, the Q32. Gap is closing down. But running out of time, white flag comes out the pillowcase. Or the doctor's jacket with 1 to run on display for Mick Andrews. Past the grandstands, past the pits, past the cars in the back straight for the final time. Night 1 feature race for our Wingless sprints is the Q32 of Mick Andrews wins by 1.4 seconds over Brett Hare in the Q46, and Brett Page home in 3rd position.
And Mick lost the feature race, mate, pretty much led it from start to finish. You held up a hard charging Zach Howe, mate. How was that race for you?
Nah, it was excellent, mate. That's only my 4th race meeting. So now I'm happy with the way the car's going, and yeah, special thanks to Dan Mose. He's given me a heap of help setting up the car, and I just want to dedicate my little win to my mate who's in hospital, Greg Chandler. Get well soon, mate. We're thinking of you.
On to number 9, and it's Lexi Underwood in the Formula 500's feature race win for that Autobahn Tri-Series. Nathan, we saw her rise and ascendancy right late in that series there. Big talk from John Magro and Ash Ewing, but Lexi came out on top.
It's funny how it goes all week. There was talk going back and forth between John Magro and Ash Ewing. Online, most of the talk was about those two. In the end, Lexi Underwood comes through. Pretty dominating night as well and took the feature win.
Magro was a seasoned veteran with that smack talk. We did enjoy it. We did enjoy the show that was happening behind the scenes, and that's what you always need. A lot of that rivalry bubbling under the surface, and then the fans are engaged, but then it's Lexi Underwood. She featured in the program. We did a Cairns Speedway stories on her. We could see she was nipping at the heels of those points leaders, but she really took it to them in the final.
Yeah, she come out and she won that heat race, went out in the final and greened a checkered flag. No one could touch her, and we saw how fast Ash Ewing and John Magro were all year, but on this night it was Lexi Underwood.
With the fastest lap time, let's check out the feature race win for Lexi Underwood in the Formula 500 Series final.
Say it every time, she's a dark horse, she's always there in the end, but and tonight it's worked out, she's starting on pole. Yellow lights are out, they're in the hands of the starters. Feature race final time, and Ash Ewing's off to a rocket down out front. Lexi Underwood will fly in the second, Ramm with a good start in the third. Magro's going to settle to fourth, and that's Brodie Duncan, your E-race number 3 winner, is in fifth. But out front, back up, no other than Lexi Ryan. Holy moly, Lexi Underwood just flies past that Ewing like he was standing still. 15.353 for the young lady. Get behind the bunch, 20 laps, it's a long journey, but she's gone at the moment. Down across the stride, Ewing. Selling down into second, and Ryan third, back to Nado and Duncan the top 5. This is going to be a ripper, Nathan Ramm. She's got to put her head down and go back to Ash. Ewing is flying behind her. I don't think he's going to push the issue too hard, because as he runs, he will win the Autobahn Series. But I tell you what, he's young and he wants to win. He wants those trophies on himself. He's not going to let us take this win easy. But right now, Lexi Underwood is flying out front. 14.531, make that 14.346. Fastest car on the racetrack is Lexi Underwood. Down the back straight and showing him a 20-set of wheels. Look at that go back at the top two, starting to stretch out from the rest of the field right now. We got a bit of lag. Up against the fence on the back straight. Tell you what, Macca, a red light is the last thing Lexi Underwood wanted to see right now. Absolutely flying. Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, 14.046 that time by when the red came on. She was hammering. Wow. They've got that car dialed, Macca. That thing looks on rails out there at the moment. Let's go racing, Cairns, and Lexi Underwood picks it up where she left off, single file past the cone. She leads a bit of a 1-2 turn and down the back straight. Gets it up right near the Dumfries. Ewing comes to the bottom. Magro goes mid-track. Nathan Ramm. Underwood gets a little luck in the book. Yes, don't go much cleaner than that. Ladies and gentlemen, throw your hands around when she's coming past. You'll see it. It'll get her right somewhere right now. She is leading the season final for the Autobahn Formula 500 Series. Lexi Underwood in that 93. Unbelievable out front. Doing in the 99. Still second. John Magro third. And Brodie Duncan in that double down first. 48 MP is running fourth. With the storyline out front, it doesn't get much better than this. Lexi Underwood. Great little ride up in tonight's program, folks. If you've got it, have a little read. A lovely young lady, a great family, been around Speedway here in Cairns for a long, long time. And she is doing it in fine style over the two big hitters that have won just about everything this year in Far North Queensland. Underwood, down the back straight, opens the gap up, and is still the quickest car on the racetrack at the moment. Nathan Ramm with a 13.827. And Macca, we knew she was going to be good. I didn't expect she was going to be this good. John Macca and Ash Ewing with a talking point all night. But tell you what, Lexi Underwood is shutting it up right now, out front, making no mistakes and looking really good with 10 laps to go. That's right, we're about halfway through. We spoke about it on the pit walk this afternoon. Who would be the dark horse? This is the little lady that came up in the conversation. Doing it beautifully, leads them home at the moment. Stretches that gap again over Ewing. Still 13.827 in the quick car we've lost Summer Allen in that 15. I tell you what, but Lexi Underwood, an absolute superstar in the front right now. Tell you what, if Libby Ellis was here, I bet you should be throwing stuff around watching the girl out front like this. Unbelievable. Yeah, she's doing a fantastic job. I tell you what, Nathan Ramm, this place will go nuts if she gets this win. Lexi Underwood doing a fantastic job. Settles the car down now. She's got it in a perfect rhythm. 13.755 goes quick time. 13.755. She's going to have to start dealing with hot traffic here. Hopefully the flag will get that blue flag out next time. Trying to go that time round. She's going to go around up high. Saw a mistake there coming late, putting it over the line just a little bit. Fact that these drivers don't know when they're getting hot. They can't see behind them. Hopefully coming low stays inside. He'll have to get around, and he does. Works the other ones around. Ashley's going to go around as well, so coming low, doing a great job of getting out of the road here, but more to go that time round. Ashley Ewing's coming, he's getting closer, the traffic forked up Lexi just a little bit. He closed up to about 4.5 wide Marley. As they get down underneath the stripe with 3 laps left to run. Nathan Ramm, she has led from the drop off the green. Unbelievable, she has been outstanding all night. 2 laps to go this time round. Ash Ewing is still right there. What's the gap that time round? It's 1.03, so we'll call it 1 second. She'll grab the doctor's jacket, the white flag this time round. It has been a track of fairy tale finishes. Harry Doyle, Hayden Stevenson up tonight. It is going to be the big story of none other than the little lady Lexi Underwood. Jacket flag at the ready. Cairns Speedway. Holy moly! Lexi Underwood gets the win. Ash Ewing home the second over Johnny Nado. Why you don't give it road bucks? Wow, this place is going to go nuts. Wow, Macca. What a year of racing. What a year of racing. Oh, absolutely brilliant. It is a track that brings fairy tales to life. The little lady, Lexi Underwood. Come on, Cairns, make some noise. Get on your feet, Cairns. 13.627's the lap record. She was not far off it. Oh, Nathan Ramm, this will be a happy young lady. Lexi Underwood, wow. Started out front, led every single lap of that race, and fastest lap of the race. Run us through it. How was it, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Thanks to the team for giving me a great car. It was pretty good racing out there. When Ash got the jump, I thought I had no hope getting him back, but yeah, it was good.
It was one hell of a race, and it's really good to see you back on the top step of the podium. Who you got to thank for getting you out here?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been up top. We've been struggling and working a lot. But yeah, we have a whole heap of people behind us, but mainly Underwood Party Hire, Kart City, Inspired Signs, Princess Racewear, and a massive thanks to Dad and Ralph for working on the car and everyone who come out to support.
Well done, Lexi. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, show us some love. Put your hands together. Your heat race winner, Lexi Underwood.
On to number 8 in the top 10 highlights for the 2022 season, Brodie Davis. A big step up from Formula 500s into the Pro Sprints. July 23rd didn't go as well for him as they expected, but he certainly came through late. Talk to me about his progression through to the Pro Sprints.
Yeah, so at the start of the year and the last previous years, we saw him in the Formula 500 division, and talented driver, probably the guy to beat this year. And then we saw the announcement Lee Holman wasn't going to be piloting the 51, so a few weeks later, Brodie Davis was going to be jumping into it.
Yep. Now, he had a successful campaign in Mareeba as well. Then September 17th happened, the feature race win. How did you see it unfold?
I don't think it was a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And that night, dominating night, he took the clean sweep. So fastest qualifier, won his heat race and took out the feature final in front of a huge crowd here at the TWW Workwear Cairns Speedway.
Now, talk to me about his celebration at the end of the race. That was something to behold.
Great to see Dad, who was actually officialing up in the tower, come running down, bit interview, gave him a big hug. You actually caught it on camera, and it doesn't get much better than that. It shows you what Speedway is all about. But such a talented young driver.
It was an epic moment, and so great to be there, right in the heart of it. Let's check out the feature race win. Brodie Davis's first feature race win as a pro sprint driver.
ripper. Davis and Jenkins sharing the front row. The young kid against the wily fox. Let's pull the trigger and go racing.
Oh, good jump there from the 51 of Brody Davis. The rest of them shuffle into line. Wes Jenkins going to put his head down and go to work. Now it's Cameron King with a huge run on the inside of Jenkins. He won't get there. Jenkins will gain momentum coming out of it. Davis will lead him around for lap one here. About 20 lap feature final.
Davis doing it beautifully at the moment. Whoa, tell you what, Jenkins lost a big heap of ground coming out of two, and Davis is capitalising. Cameron King in hot pursuit in third place. Back to Walsh, Mars and Jorgensen. Mars puts a big slide job on Walsh. Can't make it pay off into the 1-2 turn. Down the back straight and into 3 and 4. This time gets the job done at Walsh. Comes back on the inside, Randy.
Yeah, good two-way racing here. Both boys doing slide jobs on each other. No times they make good, hard, clean racing. But out front, it's the NQ51 of Brody Davies. Walking flawless out front right now. The second place, that's the 50 of Wes Jenkins. Cameron King third. Brian Walsh still fourth. Desmaro's fifth. And Jorgensen is fifth. Have a go at it. The kid, they call him Brody Davies out front.
Cameron King, the only one at the moment, trying to make a racetrack on the top side of 1 and 2. Building up momentum down into the 3-4 turn, trying to close the gap on Wes Jenkins. Meantime, Walsh is starting to close the gap on the 12 as well. It's all happening on the racetrack to Mars. Gets up on the top side as well as the back markers. The kid is absolutely flying at the moment. A 12.775, the only man in the under the 13 seconds. Oh, yellows.
Crowd, they're back in the hands of the starters. Got to wait for Scotty's green here. Early jump in there away. Scotty Davies leads him. Brody Davies, sorry. Seconds, Wes Jenkins. Look at Desmaro's up the inside of King for third. And Jenkins is around. He keeps it going, but he's just gone from second to the rear of the field. Macca, that is the last thing he wanted.
Oh, Walsh now.
He's lost the
He's on the
wheel.
infield.
We got a wheel up on the wall rolling back down.
Oh, there we go.
That won't help.
Jamal's looking for a win here at Cairns. We kick the firewall one more time. Davis picks it up where he left off. Jamal goes to the bottom side. Cameron King gets in his wheel tracks as well. Jorgensen all over the back of the number 12 down the back straight as they throw it into the 3 and 4 turn. And it is Davis in the stripe over Jamal. King, Jorgensen, and here comes Jenkins, Randy.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do starting from the rear now. He's going to have to move up high if he wants to make passes here. He can't stay on that pole line, but I tell you what, Brody Davis in that 51 machine, he's got his car on mid-track and he is fast through turns 1 and 2. So Desmaro's now in a lonely second place. He's fallen off the back of the 18-year-old Brody Davis and pulled away from Cameron King in the number 12.
Would be sensational if Jorgensen could get ahead of Kingy. We've been praising him up for a bit of sponsorship all night, the 95 machine. Your business would look great on the side of that motor car. Get in contact with him. He needs a few dollars to go running next year. Mark Jorgensen would be certainly very appreciative in the 95. I tell you what, he is absolutely spanking them now, Nathan Ramm. Davis walking super comfortable out front.
3.67 was the gap last time around. Let's see what it is this time. He is absolutely gone. I don't think Desmaro's going to even see him back there in second place. 4.3 seconds is the gap that time around with 4 laps to run. He's gone, Macca.
Yeah, he's out of there. Right to check out right now for the NQ51 machine. Dominating here at Cairns International Speedway. Jared DeMars and Cameron King. DeMars a lonely second, as you said, Nathan. Kingy now broken away from Jorgensen. So 1, 2 and 3 at the moment looking very settled. As the laps start to wind down, it'll be 1 lap to run this time. Why bring it home, Nate?
Yeah, wide plug out. He's going to bring it home. Macca, I can't keep my eyes on Brody Davies. This is scary for the rest of the field. He's got it together, and look how fast he is tonight in the feature final. He's going to come around and grab it. Brody Davies, the kid, his first ever feature race final win in a pro sprint car. Look at the hands down the side of the car. He is over
over the moon. He's won countless races in a Formula 500. This is his third outing in a pro sprint car, and he has grabbed a feature race win in front of a tough field.
Absolutely spanked them, did it in fantastic style. Ladies and gentlemen, as he comes through the 3-4 make some noise for Brodie Davis. You've just seen an absolute belter come on the hill, make some noise. Oh, Nathan Ramm, one of the most likeable young men. He will join you in victory lane.
Yeah, the 51 machine, Brodie Davis, the kid they call him. He's going to climb out and do a bit of a wing dance there. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for him. First ever sprint car win here at the Cairns International Speedway in front of his home crowd. Dad's going to come out of the officials now. I'm sure give him a hug. I'll grab a quick word with you, Brodie. Third proper outing in there, mate. You've had a fair bit of bad luck with car troubles tonight. You got it all together, mate. You grabbed a feature race win.
Yeah, bloody oath. She was a tricky track, but the guys gave me an awesome car. It was demanding in the mid-turn, but I just had to find the juice, work around it, and just sort of keep a straight line, make sure I didn't make any mistakes. But I knew that to not win that race, I had to throw it away. But no, the guys gave me a great car. Big thanks to Lee, Dad, Darren, Chomp, and everyone that goes into this thing. Jack as well. They put a lot of effort in, a lot of hours, and it's rewarded and paid off.
That's awesome, mate. You've definitely found your feet in the water in the sprint car, mate. Keen to see you in the future.
Yeah, for sure. A couple more meetings left in the year, so yeah, we'll see what we can do from here.
That's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put your hands together. Brodie Davies, the kid.
Now we're very lucky right now, Nathan. We've got an exclusive interview with Brodie Davis and Lee Holman in an upcoming instalment of Cairns Speedway Stories. Let's take a sneak peek right now and a chat with Brodie Davis.
We were struggling before that point, but to come back from a really strong run, I think, Dad had talks with Lee, and then I sort of called me up and just said, hey mate, I think you got an opportunity here to sort of go up into the sprint cars, and it sort of, Lee just explained, you're sort of looking for someone to put in the car with business sides and everything. And I was absolutely stoked. Can't explain how honoured I am to sort of be given that opportunity and thank him enough. But and then we just had to chat over it about obviously the situation with me being in Brisbane, the car being up here. Luckily enough, we were able to get a good generosity, massive generosity from James Matthews and get it laid flooring. Yeah, well, I'd say because we had that run those runs in between at Mareeba, Mareeba's a real wide open track where you got to commit to the corner to be able to run it in hard and run it in fast sort of thing. So coming from that point, I definitely had the confidence in the car that we could sort of commit to turning in the Cairns with a big wide open corner. So we pretty much just sort of committed to in qualifying. I was just like had to decide we're gonna hold it on here, and we'll just got to find the line to sort of make sure that we hold the throttle down and the fastest way around sort of thing. So I was I think with the last group out, the first two, Walsh and Wes and Wes all put down some pretty quick times, Kingy as well. And so I just went out, I had to, as I said, had to commit and put the foot down and went down for a few laps, and yeah, came down 4 laps later, and Dad just shouted over the radio, says, you got P1, there's 12.5 or something like that. So, and then we went back and looked over the times, and the consistency, which is a massive thing, was there as well. I think all of our times were within 2/10 of each other or something, which was pretty awesome. So from that point on, you got confidence in the night. It's a whole different mood. You're not battling, like compared to the other nights, you're not battling forward, you haven't had any issues. You start at the top and you just have to stay there sort of thing. So.
On to number 7, and the thunder in the cane fields doubled down with something else. June 24th and June 25th, we had the stands packed with fans ready to witness some really high-octane pro sprint action. A lot of drivers coming up from southeast Queensland. Nathan Ramm, how did you enjoy the thunder in the cane fields at Cairns?
Yeah, it was definitely our biggest event of the year, and it was spectacular to be involved. The racing doesn't get much better, especially on a short track like this. It was fantastic.
Well, it was Brian Mann that took out the feature race on Saturday night, but it was Dan Mose that won the championship overall on points. Let's check out the feature race from Saturday night.
Time A big race, 30 laps of distance. Plenty of prize money up for grabs. Mann and Jenkins on the front row. Totally Workwear, Cairns International Speedway. Thunder in the cane fields is go. Pretty steady. Andrew Sues turns around in front of the field. And we'll go yellow. Yellow to go. Let's get it done. Brian Mann, a good start. Nicholas O'Keefe on the outside gets checked by Brian Mann, and O'Keefe goes back to 5th. Jenkins over the cushion, and he goes back to 3rd position now. Jorgensen up on the back of Richie Robb now. 1 lap in the books. How good is that? As we get rolling now with Brian Mann, Dan Mose, Wes Jenkins, Walsh is 4th as Skibbon goes to the infield, and he is out of the event. Nicholas O'Keefe next to the racetrack. Dallaston will be 6th. Damaris is 7th. Damaris moves through on another, and Damaris is up into position 6 now. Your race leaders catching in on traffic already as this race starts to get into a bit of a groove now. Looks pretty good. And Brian Mann, car looks free enough to run where he wants. Oh, Mosey gets over the cushion and washed off some speed. Oh, gets into the front beam of Curly O'Keefe. Wes Jenkins is 3rd, and he's got Brian Walsh right behind him. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th at home on the racetrack between Jenkins and Walsh. David O'Keefe just rolling the top of the racetrack, trying to stay out of trouble, gets to the bottom, and the lineup to go by. As Jorgensen, high up into the concrete, rotates the car in front of the field, keeps the boot into it, and we stay green. Your race leaders come up on the back of the hand. David O'Keefe pulling on to the infield, and out of the event is Brian Mann up on the inside of Libby Ellis. Where's Jenkins? Brian Walsh, and Brian Walsh moves into position number 3. Jenkins back to 4th. His car looks terrible out there. Way too tight. And really struggling to get the cars into the turns. Look at Dan Mose coming at Brian Mann here. Brian Walsh in 3rd is getting busy. Dan Mose rolling through the Haydiddle Hill, and Mosey looks good. Brian Mann's probably cruising at this particular junction, but Mosey looks good. Jorgensen up in the flumpy stuff. We're 11 down and 19 to run. Brian Walsh is 3rd at the moment. We're yellow. Oh, for a fracker over there in turn number 2. Racetrack nearly blocked, but everyone's able to get through. So Wingless, Richie, Robb and Mike Walsh are caught up in that. And those 3 cars will go to the rear because they all need a push start. So that's Richie, Robb, Gary, Wingless and Mike Walsh, all stationary in turn 2. All right, here we go. Restart, 20 laps to run. Brian Mann at the helm for Totally Workwear. 10 in, 20 to run. Mann gets us underway. Round 2 is back underway. Brian Walsh under attack from Wes Jenkins. Damaris having a look on the inside at Nicholas O'Keefe now. We're trying to get some laps in the book here. Once again. Dallaston upstairs trying to get the top to roll. Libby Ellis under attack from Jorgensen now. Libby Ellis doing a heck of a job on the racetrack right now. She might be 8th, which is terrific job by Libby Ellis. Oh, she's 10th in fact. Race leader is rolling pretty good here. Mosey 2nd. Brian Walsh is 3rd. Jenkins next on the racetrack. Damaris Dallaston. Then it's Mike Walsh, Richie Robb, then Libby Ellis, who's a lap down. loses a position as Dan Mose goes into the lead of the motor race. And Mosey's rocking and rolling here. Look at Mosey go, and we are yellow, yellow, yellow. Start, Brian Mann in control. 16 done and 14 to run. Green flag, and we're off and running once again. Brian Mann, good and clean air. But as we saw, as he gets in on some of the back markers, Dan Mose is pretty good in traffic. And had the car free enough to run high, will get back down the bottom and make it work and get to the lead. Another lap in the books. It'll be 12 to run this time by. Brian Mann, here's your race leader from Dan Mose. Brian Walsh, Nicholas O'Keefe, Damaris, Dallaston. Back to Mike Walsh and Wes Jenkins. Brian Mann still in control as he's coming up on some of the back markers now. Tyre wear may be a factor here. Jorgensen on the outside of Libby Ellis. They're side by side as the race leaders come up on them. This is Dan Mo's time to shine. Brian Mann will have 8 laps left to run as Mosey closes in on your leader. As Brian Mann's buried in lap traffic, he gets around. And Mosey has no one in between him. As Wes Jenkins goes to the infield and is out of the event. Mose has 7 laps left to chase down and pass Brian Mann. Brian Walsh is third. Right behind Libby Ellis, Nicholas O'Keefe, Damaris is 4th and 5th. Here comes Mosey. Under a second the gap between first and second now. Mosey's coming with a wet sail. And they come in on back markers now. Ripping battle unfolding for Totally Workwear Cairns International Speedway. It'll be 4 laps left to run and Mosey's closing in on Brian Mann. Brian Mann leads by the narrowest of margins over Dan Mose. 4 laps left to run. Look at Mose coming at Mann now. Mann and Mose. 3 laps left to run this time by. And Mosey's ready to pounce. They come up on Jorgensen. 2.5 laps remaining. Brian Mann just composes and settles that time by. Mosey right behind him in second. 2 to run. Mann from Mose. Brian Walsh is still third. O'Keefe is 4th. Mike Walsh is there and thereabouts. The white flag comes out. 1 lap remaining. Brian Mann, Dan Mose through 3 and 4 for the final time for Totally Workwear. And Brian Mann wins. Mose will win the series. Brian Walsh home in 3rd position. Nicholas O'Keefe, Dallaston home 4th and 5th. Mike Walsh will be next one across the line in 5th position.
You got a big sword, mate. How about that? Ripper job, mate. That's awesome. You've 2 podiums, 2 weekends. Doesn't get much better, mate.
Yeah, no, it was an awesome trip to come up here and race with all these guys. Hats off to all the North Queensland guys. They're terrific. Scotty Davis and his crew up here. Yeah, they put on some great racing. It's just a bunch of good people up here. Yeah, just thanks to everybody.
Well done, mate. Congratulations. All right, we're going to get...
Coming in at number 6 on the top 10 highlights for the 2022 season, thrills and spills. There was plenty of it this season. Nathan Ramm, what did you see from the infield there?
It was definitely some huge carnage. I saw a lot of broken cars and a lot of heartbroken people. Let's check out some of the biggest crashes from 2022.
International Speedway. Dropping wheels and we're off and we're in all sorts of problems. A big wreck on the start, skidding upside down with the front beam out of the 46 and we are red on heat race number 1. Wow, skidding upside down. That start was a dog's breakfast. feature.
Well, we are halfway through the top 10 highlights of the Totally Workwear Cairns International Speedway 2022 season. Nathan, it's probably a good chance to really touch on the infield and the volunteers, everything that goes into the Speedway to make it work. Who do we need to thank?
Yeah, well, these are the things you don't hear about. Kelvin and his infield crew, they're getting prepared 2-3 weeks ahead earlier, trying to get people involved, getting all their fire gear ready, getting the cars ready. They've got to service them nearly every meeting. So we've got to give a huge thanks and a huge props to Kelvin and the whole infield safety crew keeping these guys safe out here.
And what does it take to get the track prepped on any given Speedway night?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'd hate to be that guy. All the pressure's on you for prepping the track. I know most of them get started around Tuesday, Wednesday, getting water into the track, grading it, getting the surface ready and cleaning up the wall and the whole racetrack, getting it ready to go. There's a lot of effort goes into it and people don't see these things behind the scenes. So we've got to give a huge thanks to the whole committee, giving us a racetrack to go racing on.
So from our ticketing, our food and beverage, ushers and all the people in the stands, all the volunteers on the infield, the workers, the club board, all the guys and girls that go into making this Speedway possible, we thank you.
All right, moving on to number 5 on our top 10 countdown, Super Street Sedans. This class has just taken off like a rocket. Our biggest class now in North Queensland, and it's fantastic to see it still growing. Expecting 5 more cars next year, should bring out a 30-car field on the best of nights. Highlight of the year, the 18, Jamie Naylor, new kid on the block.
Yeah.
Come out, first show I saw something in him. I saw him come from the rear of the field in a heat race and came second in that race, I believe. I went up to him in the pits and I said, mate, I'll be keeping my eye on you.
Yeah.
Second meeting, didn't go his way. He had a bit of a mechanical, I believe he DNF, but third show out here at the Cairns Speedway, took the feature win in front of a huge crowd.
That's amazing. Now, he's come from a bitumen background, is that correct?
Yeah, never raced on dirt before, so go-karts and Mazda CX-5 racing, I believe, as well.
Fantastic. And he was very emotional in that win. You could tell it meant a lot to win that Super Street Sedan Laurie Manning Cup. What was his thoughts after the race?
Oh, he was stoked. I asked him if he'll be sticking around in dirt race, and he said, mate, you'll be seeing me here for a long time. I think Dad was a little bit sceptical on the whole dirt thing. I think he's a bitumen man at heart, but sounds like Jamie's converting him over, and I look forward to seeing the 18 back on the top step of the podium shortly.
Right, so I think he's here to stay. Let's check out the feature race win with Jamie Naylor in the Laurie Manning Cup for the 2022 season.
Hey, Macca! Macca! You want to go down on the... Hey, Macca! What's going on? Macca! We're after the 500, eh?
Variety Bash. Holden, wagon, looking absolutely stellar. Up on the hill, come on folks. Start putting your hands together. The 3 wide salute, nothing better. No finer sight in any sport. Up on the hill, show your appreciation. The mighty Lightning McQueen machine. Phillips and Scotty Vella, the front row. We should start them this way, Nath. Yellow lights on. The pace car about to pull to the infield. The boys will be told to pair up and we'll pack and stack. 20 laps the journey, Nathan. These guys always turn it on here at Cairns. Green flag, Nathan Ramm. Let's kick the firewall. Red Hardy and Vella on ball. It's going to be Scotty Vella in the number 8. That FGX Ford Falcon is off to an early lead. After that water, this track is lead with Jamie Naylor up to second. He's having a look up the inside of Scotty Valley. He won't get there. What a slick racetrack we're starting out on. Little bit of Tobble and Dean action going on at the moment. Oh, Hardy gets collected by McGee there in the 87. That'll push him all the way back to 6th position. Mate, this is not what we normally see from Brett Hardy. Yeah, a little bit too slick, too much horsepower in the old Lightning McQueen machine. Ford can't handle it. But right now out front, Scotty Valley in the C8. I'm going to hurt you. Jamie Naylor with a big understeer there in turn 1. Can he bring it back around? He will. Puts the pedal to the metal down the back straight. I really want to see Naylor give something to Scotty Valley here. I'll tell you what, he's closed right up on him in the 3-4 turn, hasn't he? The V8 powered big green machine, trying to put everything he's got down to the ground, setting sail after Scotty Valley, that big horsepower modified sedan out front. This is a great battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th making round. Close up. How about Brad Brook down at 28? He came from way back there and he's already made his way up to 5th place. So hell of a drive there from Brad Brook. Maybe really liking these slick race conditions. But right now, check out the battle for the lead. It's on Jamie Naylor, looking high, looking low. He's going to duck up the inside. Cairns, you have a new race leader, Jamie Naylor. Scotty Valley's going to try to spot. He's looking up the inside once again, but Naylor's too quick there coming out of turn 4. Power to the ground and he's away. Look out, here comes Hardy, starting to make his charge back through the field. A long way from home, Nathan Ramm. 15 to go, not impossible. One thing I've noticed about Brad Hardymaker, he does not like a wet track. He always goes backwards when there's a wet track. I don't know what it is, but he likes a dry, fast racetrack. But right now out front, Jamie Naylor, come from 4th to 1st so far. Like he said, a long way to go. What about Brad Brook having a brilliant drive tonight? The big yellow number 28 machine with our sponsor in the passenger seat. Oh, he gets a little kiss on the backside. He's done well to get up to 4th, that marker. Jamie Naylor starting to stretch out that lead just a little bit now. So as they run, it's the number 18 of Jamie Naylor. Scotty Valley 2nd. Owen Rain King is 3rd. Oh, Hardy there gets around Brad Brooks for 4th. So 4th will be Brett Hardy and Brad Brooks is now 5th. Man, Jamie Naylor spreading that lead. He's going to start approaching lap traffic now. Let's see how he can handle it. These guys are going to have to move up on the racetrack. Flagger doing a good job there, putting that lap traffic flag out. Obviously close in the 85. We'll know the leaders are coming and see if you can do a good job to stay out of the way. Scotty Valley struggling a little bit there with a bit of an inconsistent track. Hardy's still sitting 4th. He's starting to come alive here later on in the feature final. Sorry, 10 laps to go this time around, halfway through. Yeah, right. The lap traffic's just starting to slow Naylor up a little bit, and that's allowing Vella and the rest of the crew now to start bunching it back up again. Top 4 in a freight train with the lap car at the moment, Nathan Ramm, as they head off down the back straight. Vella the first one to try and size him up. But keep an eye on Hardy. He loves going the top line here in Cairns. Yeah, he's going to get around like the famous Steve McCulloch says. You can throw a blanket over the top 4. Oh, what about this? He's about to put a move on Vella. Oh, yeah, he's found his pace. Look at Dalgleish up on the top line now. What can Dean do in the 52 machine? Nearly 3 wide. They're 2 wide coming out of turn 4. It's LS first barreling down that start straight. But right now, this is only benefiting your race leader, Jamie Naylor, who just set the fastest lap of the race with an 18.904. Jamie Naylor is on rails right now. He's got clear air now, Hardy. He's got Naylor in his gun sights. A little bit of smoke out of the rear of the 18 machine. Hardy starting to give chase. 7 laps, 6 laps this time by Nathan Ramm. It ain't done yet. Oh, this is going to be a showdown. This track's starting to group up now, and that's when Hardy's at his best. Tell you what a race if he goes from 1st back to 6th, then back to 1st, mate. It doesn't get much crazier than that. But right now, Naylor is looking solid out front. Hardy's got his work cut out for him. On 18.056 last time round and 18.056. Brett Hardy, the Lightning McQueen machine, is your fastest car on the racetrack. Oh, big puff of smoke there for Hardy, Macca. Yes. Well, the LSC, I told you. Giving it up. It's most probably a 4-power steering hose. It's a bump and really all. Oh, doesn't be bothering it too much, but this is going to be one hell of a race with 4 laps to go that time round. Both cars now with a little smoke. Oh, Dalglish up in smoke. Steam pouring out of the thing. What is going on right now? That's the radiator gone in the Dalglish machine. You think he'll notice his temp climbing? He will now. The light will come on very shortly. Here we go, Nathan Ramm, nose to tail under the tower. Yeah, 3 laps. Hardy's there on the inside. Can he make the move? But he won't. Naylor's going to get the power to the ground. This racetrack is turning it on right now. Hardy's got that entry speed over Naylor. He is so fast into turns 3 and turns 1. 2 to go that time round. Oh, this is going to be a showdown. 2 laps, Macca, 2 laps. 3-car freight train. Oh, God, I've banged that on the Scotty Vella machine. Right underneath the tower, but here we go. It's a 3-car freight train at the start, at the front of the pack. Oh, Scotty Vella's stuck on the high line of the track. Is this going to cause something? Will the yellows come on and off? But white flag out, 1 to go. Hardy dives on the inside and the orange is on. Oh, my God. We're going to go back to 2 laps to run. Smoke coming out of the Hardy car. Oh, Macca. You are kidding. What is it with this racetrack? Wow. Oh, they're going to give him 2 laps. Be right there. Giddy up, boy. Well done. I'm rubbing off on you. All right, back in the hands of the starters, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to go 2 more. Green lights on. It's Naylor versus Hardy. Who's going to get it? Brett Hardy, your Tri-Series champion, dives up the inside. Gives Naylor a little loft out there. Macca, this is great racing. Get Jamie Naylor hold on with 1 lap to go. Yeah, he's done a great job on his 3rd time out in the big number 18 machine. 1 lap to travel. The bed linen flies. And Hardy has got it now or never. Top side, loses a bit of ground. Naylor finds something coming out of 2, mate. Oh, and that's going to be what does it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. First ever feature race final. Jamie Naylor in the 18. Wow. Brett Hardy home for 2nd. Owen Rankin's the next car across the line, and Brad Brook officially 4th with our TW. Well, we think it's the Totally Workwear sponsor in the passenger seat. Michael Phillips rounds out the top 5. Let's make some noise, Cairns, especially on the hill. Jamie Naylor. There'll be a few beers in the Naylor camp tonight, that is for sure. Jamie Naylor. I just heard you say your car's dead. What happened there? I don't know, mate. She made it to the end. That's all that matters, right? So it's yeah, no power steering, deflating tyre, but we made it in the end. That was awesome. Mate, I've been saying for the last few weeks, you're going to be up there and going to be one of the men to be, but that was awesome, mate. Pretty new to dirt track racing. What do you think so far? Oh, mate, it's insane. Like, it's so much fun. We've it's still taking a bit of adjusting too, but I'll be here for a long time to come, I think. Especially with this crowd here. Like, look at them, they're awesome. Just cheering all night. That's awesome, mate. Who you got to thank for getting you out here and getting your first ever dirt track feature race win? I turned a bit of a preacher this week, and I turned my dad into a bit of a dirt man. He wasn't too happy about that, but he's been swinging off spinners for weeks. And this man behind us here, Josh, he works tirelessly. It's without them, I wouldn't be here. So, yep, that's awesome. That's what Speedway's about. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. First ever feature race win, Jamie Naylor.
On to number 4 in the top 10 highlights for season 2022, Ash Ewing in the Formula 500s. He's either found his way as a feature race winner or he's been a did not finish. He's found himself in some trouble as well. So what have you found with Ash Ewing this season? Yeah, he's either taking home some gold trophies or he's going home heartbroken. There seems to be no in between at the moment, but I tell you what, he is fast, and I think he's definitely asserted himself as that top guy up here in Far North Queensland in the Formula 500 class. Fantastic. He certainly noted that this was his favourite year of racing. It's easy to see why. Finding himself on the podium, certainly taking out the points in the Formula 500s, losing that feature race to Lexi Underwood, which I'm sure will leave a sour taste in his mouth, but he's certainly a competitor. Let's check out the feature race win with Ash Ewing on August 20.
Formula 500 feature. And this will be gloves off for 15  15 laps of journey. Ash Ewing the 99.
Ash, mate, this is 3 times in a row we're talking here after a feature win. I think it's safe to say you're the guy to beat up in the north here in the Formula 500s, mate. How do you feel?
I feel pretty good. Obviously, you know, we've sorted this car out a bit more. We're making changes after every race, and yeah, it's really starting to show now.
That's looking good, mate. You're definitely a front runner up here. In the off-season, are you going to look at going down south and seeing how you go down there?
We're planning on Victoria for their speed week, then on the way back we'll stop in Brizzy. Either leave a car down there and leave a car up here, or just use this car down there.
Awesome, mate. Congratulations. Enjoy the win. That's 3 in a row for Ash Ewing. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen.
On to number 3 in the top 10 highlights for season 2022, and it's the modified sedans. Nathan Ramm, this winner, Hayden Stevenson, he was elated. He couldn't be more happy, and he had LG Automotive and Dyno on the side of the car. The naming rights for that meet. What were your thoughts on Hayden Stevenson's win?
Yeah, probably the most emotional win we saw here. He had his kids there, his wife here, major sponsor up in the corporate box. It was awesome to see Hayden get a feature race win here after a few hard years he's had as well, breaking out. He had a huge rollover at Mareeba a few years ago where the car had to be fully rebuilt, so it was awesome to see him get a feature race win here. Now,
he's alongside a long-time buddy, Jorgensen. Now, those two have a long rivalry, and he got the chocolates over him. How happy do you think he was just to win against his rival?
Oh, you know, both these guys are best mates off the track, but I tell you, they're probably each other's worst enemy on the track, always going back and forward. I think he wanted that win so bad.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race to see. The modified sedans have been awesome all year long. Let's check out the feature race for the modified sedans NQ title.
The journey, time to crown a North Queensland champion. Jorgensen and Stevenson, we are set to jet. Let's take 2 on the start. And Stevenson on the outside. Jorgensen slides underneath. It's a battle. Jorgie gets it cooked. Slides the Cortina to the infield. We are still green at the stripe. Yellows come on. Set to go. Let's pull the trigger.
Once again with Stevenson with a huge run on the outside. Jorgensen's going to send it up and yellow again.
And just a little early on the start, waiting to see what happens with the steward. And Total Workwear, Cairns International Speedway, we are set to go one more time. We are green this time by. Jorgensen underneath Stevenson as they dive into the 1-2 turn. Jorgensen with the elbows up, he leads down the back straight. Stevenson up in the second spot. Brett Brady will settle into third. It is Ford, Nathan Ramm.
Yeah, no LS powered Fords in this one. It's all Ford up front at the moment. I tell you what, Jorgensen did what he had to do on that start. He needed to get a clean start and get out front of these bigger cars, but he has got a hot and steamy Hayden Stevenson breathing down his neck, and both these guys want to win so bad.
Certainly do. Great mates off the racetrack. All bets are off once they're on the clayway, that is for sure. Jorgensen leading in the little Cortina at the moment. Stevenson in hot pursuit, the tarmac terror from Townsville. We go back to Brett Brady and that sensational blue number 26 Falcon. Then we go back to Dave Manley doing a great job of having a brilliant night. Brian Clenahan's is the next one from Stevie Manley. And Cummins rounds out the runners here in Cairns.
Macker, I can see a little bit of blue smoke coming out of the back of Jorgensen's car as he comes down this start straight. We'll have to keep an eye on that throughout this very long feature race.
30 laps, it's a long journey. Oh, Stevie Manley's out, the number 6. Pulls him to the infield. The battle up front between the two great mates, Jorgensen and Stevenson.
Oh, bumper to bumper coming back into turn 1 right now. Stevenson's got the pace to throw it under. I don't think he wants to be too aggressive, but it's a drag race down the back straight. Jorgensen has his hands full.
Dave Manley's got a bumper bar full of Graham Clenahan's as well, but the action is all up front at the moment. The two yellow beasts going at each other. Stevenson slides down underneath, gets the door kicked open, and we got a new leader. Stevenson leads down into the 3-4 turn. Here comes Jorgie.
Stevenson worked for that one with a big slide job up the inside coming into turn one. Jorgensen's going to have to find something now if he wants to match the pace of Stevenson. That 28 machine is looking so solid out front right now as Brady runs lonely in third.
Stevenson doing a beautiful job, puts it right in the middle of the racetrack. Jorgensen's got panel work flying off the Cortina at the moment.
Jorgensen needs to find something more if he wants to catch Stevenson. He can't let him run away with this early on.
Brett Brady a lonely third spot, the battle for fourth and fifth is Dave Manley and Graham Clonaheads. The panel work almost disappearing on the Cortina on the right hand side. Jorgensen now loses up, big heap of ground coming out of two. Out of the 3-4 turn, Stevenson puts the foot in the bucket, gets the tail out, sets it sailing into 1 and 2.
Yeah, 2-second lead that time round. He's starting to check out, and that is not what Jorgensen wants to see. He must be getting frustrated behind the wheel watching Stevenson walk away with this.
Brett Brady trying to close the gap on the back of the Cortina. Can't get the job done at the moment. The top three are spread out right around the racetrack. The only battle on the racetrack at the moment is Dave Manley and Graham Clonaheads. Manley a little untidy, that allows Clonaheads to get underneath. Almost gets the job done, yes he does.
Tell you what, Magger, it doesn't matter where these two race or who else is racing on the racetrack, they always seem to find each other by the time the final comes around.
Clonaheads and Manley doing a great job, putting on the show at the moment. Everybody else is cleared away. Stevenson, the 28 machine, sponsored by LG Auto and Dyno. Our major sponsor tonight for the NQ title. Doing a fantastic job of leading the way. Jorgie looking for a yellow to try and get back onto the backside of the 28 machine. Brett Brady a lonely third at the moment. Still the only battle on the racetrack is the Clonaheads Manley battle.
Still been going back and forward all race right now. At the moment, Clonaheads with the advantage, but Dave Manley doesn't want to let him go as he sends it back up the inside now, and he's going to get past Clonaheads, but Clonaheads holds it on around the outside and gets that position back. Look at the smoke coming out of Jorgensen's car now.
Yeah, plenty of smoke all of a sudden coming from the 25 Cortina. He'll drive it to the fives, that is for sure. Oh, Stevenson right up near the concrete, underneath the flag stand, leaving nothing on the table at the moment.
That's about as close as you can get to the wall without making contact, Macca.
Absolutely. Front runners all got underneath the slower cars of Cummins. And Stevenson now is on the backside of the back markers. Starts to have a look on the inside of Dave Manley as the blue flag comes out for passing. Letting them know the faster man is on their tail.
Lap traffic could have a play in this. He needs to get through cleanly and be smart. He's got just over 10 laps to go with a huge lead. He can't afford to throw it away over something silly.
Smoke starting to get worse from the Cortina. Keeping it all on the 25 machine as he sweeps through the 3-4 turn. Big puff on the trail through, Nathan.
Yeah, not good whatever's going on there. Looks like he might have lost a bit of power. He's not carrying a lot of speed down these straights, so hopefully he doesn't detonate an engine here tonight. But right now, Stevenson, the number 28, he's getting through lap traffic clean, and he is looking super fast out front.
I tell you what, still 10 laps to go, and Stevenson has got third place in his sights. Cummins is the first car he'll come across, and it is Brett Brady just in front of him in third spot. Oh, smoke now getting thicker out of the Cortina. Oh, problems to third place. Brett Brady pulls to the infield.
Yeah, I heard it misfiring as he came down the start straight here. Something's not good inside that motor.
Clonaheads now moves up to third, Manley into fourth. And Jorgensen is starting to smoke heavily. The number 25. Can he hang on to second spot? Stevenson doing it in fine style, the number 28 machine.
Right now the battle is still on for third, but Clonaheads and Manley have not stopped going back and forward this whole race. It's 11 versus 69. Holden versus Ford right now for the final step off the podium.
Certainly is. They come down through turn 4. It's the Ford at the moment. doing a great job. Moynihan's right on his hammer as they go through the 1-2 turn. Has been a sensational battle from the drop of the green. 5 laps left to run for the leader. Adam Jorgensen doing everything he can to get the little Cortina home in second spot.
It's starting to get bad now, Macca. That thing's pouring out. He's going to have to bring it in soon if he sees something go wrong on the gauges. All the stuff's pouring out like we saw early on in the night with Stevenson's car. The official's going to bring him in.
4 to go. 3 this time by. Jorgie doing everything he can to hang on to second.
I think he's backed off. I think he's going to... No, he's not bringing it in just yet. It looks like he is backing off, but...
3 to go for the leader.
He's going to limp it home.
Just rolling the Cortina around. He knows he's got enough. Hanging on to second at the moment. But it's been Hayden Stevenson's night. From the drop of the green, he has fought for it, got it to the front, and made every post a winner. Down across the stripe, it'll be the white flag this time by Nathan Ramm.
Oh, sounds like Stevenson's got a misfire now as well, but he should be able to limp it home with 1 to go. But a lot of mechanicals here tonight, Macca.
Yeah, it certainly is. It went down on the 5 cylinders as it rolled across the tower. But guess what? He is going to bring it home. Ladies and gentlemen, your new NQ Modified Sedan Champion, the Tarmac Terror from Townsville. Steve there, Hayden Stevenson. Adam Jorgensen will limp it home in second spot. And should be, no, we are yellow, and David Manley will be officially third. Wow, what a race, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to grab the flag. Hayden Stevenson doing it in fine style. Dumps the clock. Come on, grandstand, make some noise. Up there around the bar area. Put your hands together for Hayden Stevenson. Up there in the pit area, your new NQ champion. Adam Jorgensen home for second and Dave Manley home for third. Come on, Hill, make some noise. Your new champion, Hayden Stevenson.
We did it, baby. We beat Jorgo fair and square, mate. You know, he's my best mate, but he's also my best enemy. So if I was going to beat anyone, I'm glad it was Jorgo starting on the inside. So, yeah, thank you.
Mate, a great battle right from the get-go, wasn't it? A couple of restarts there on the very first lap. You both had your elbows out. You both wanted it so badly. And, mate, I know you feel bad for Jorgo. The thing was smoking like a chimney. But, gee whiz, to finish first, you got to finish.
Oh, mate, we've been on the end of plenty of DNFs lately, and especially the NQ title time, leading them and having a belt come off. So I've got to thank everyone that helps. I've got to thank my wife. We wouldn't go racing without her. Is someone cutting an onion here or something? She looks after the kids, mate. Good race. Good.
Best of mates, as we said, off the racetrack.
Yeah, mate, look, my wife, she looks after the kids while I work on the shed, working on the car, because we know we want it right when it rolls out, and it was fast tonight. This thing was on rails. Besides our little hiccup in Heat 3, we thought, oh, this is it. The monkey's coming back, but it only just hung on. We dropped the cylinder at the end there. It was getting hot, but little Henry, she was just going. But I think, you know, my crew, I've got, you know, a few ring-ins this weekend. I've got Merv. Tony, he's always there. He's been there from the start. Even when we didn't have our own car, he's been there from the start. Got Harry, Nicole, they've come up from Mackay to give me a hand. You know, like, these guys, you know, they root for me day in, day out. Win, lose or draw, they always got me back. Jai's up there, my brother-in-law, you know, they come out from Mariba just to cheer, to make sure we square up the numbers with the Jorgensen camp. But I guess LG, mate, I can't thank them enough for all the class today, but they've been with me 10 years, even from my tarmac days. You know, they've always supported anyone with motorsport, and, you know, if you live local, get behind these guys, mate. Whether it's just a service,
a tune on your hot rod, or even your tow vehicle. Just support the guys and support the sport. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, your new North Queensland Modified Sedan Champion, Hayden Stevenson.
On to number 2 in the Totally Workwear Cairns International Speedway top 10 highlights for season 2022, Brian Walsh. Now, this is a character that always found himself in that podium at that final end of the races. Certainly put the points on the board. The Thunder and the Cane Fields finished second overall in that. Yeah. Took home the big cane knife. He always found a way to stay in it.
Yeah, touching on that Thunder and the Canes field race, huge effort for Brian Walsh putting it on the second step of the podium there with the little LS up against the bigger 410 motors. So you've got to give him props. That was an awesome effort. Throughout the year, he was pretty hot and cold in qualifying. He was either up there in P1 or 2. He was back in 5th and 6th. Tell you what, when that checkered flag was floating at the end of the night, he was always right there, if not first one to cross.
Now, at the very start of the season, I remember him saying he had a few mechanicals going on, but they certainly got it right towards the end of the year. Now, back-to-back Mike Walsh Championship trophies. It's hard to do, and that's why he finds himself at number 2. It's a big effort to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, like they say, consistency is key, and he has nailed that this year and last year, taking out the championship both years. So for the Coppins Construction, NQ number 3, well done, huge effort.
Now, the points was pretty close. Weston Dallison actually put it into the wall a couple of times, and that could have changed the course of the outcome, but Brian just stayed consistent racing and find himself right at the top.
Yeah, he was always there in the end. Dallison was close on points, put himself into the wall right here in turns 3, put him out of contention at our last meeting, unfortunately. Another driver to touch on, the NQ50 at Wes Jenkins, was so fast all year. Another one of those guys suffering with a few mechanical issues and just couldn't get the consistency of Brian Walsh.
Now, I also believe that Brian Walsh in the NQ3 got the lap record for the pro sprints, Nathan.
Yeah, at our last meeting here, we saw Walshy do a 12.309. So he topped Brett Skibbins' lap record of a 12.324. So 2/10 faster. Tell you what, it's going to be on for next year between these two.
Let's check out the October 15th feature race win for NQ3 Brian Walsh.
Great battle out front. Yeah, onto it early. Leads Weston Dallison in the 64. Walshy beat last on on. I'm sure he's going to move from there for 49 to just in. If he gets the wall, a little bit on that. Keep going, but out front. 3 laps down, Weston Dallison. Long way to home for the checker. We are in an absolute rhythm now. 3 laps in. And the timing board is rattling as the boys get close to the fence. Oh, Marco, I would love to see Wes Jenkins put the hammer down and catch up to his son. Building up a 3-car battle for the race lead. So right now, Dallison driving that middle to the high. The track line's really fast and walking fantastic. 12.583 for Dallison as he gets across the stripe. The battle is third at the moment. Wes Jenkins in a real absolute dogfight with Brody Davis down the back straight. The battle is third and fourth. Jenkins at the moment hanging on by his fingertips. Davis quick down on that bottom line. On the pole line, he's very fast. Jenkins is searching for something high on the racetrack. I don't know if there's much left there anymore. Looks like Walshy's starting to close in a little bit on Dallison as well. 13 to go that time. Ramfield race to the leader. Pleasant, Dallison in the City Bank battle. 60's live. Davis all over the backside of the 50 machine. Loses about half a car length coming through the 3-4 turn. Dallison is gone. He's starting to stretch the length of the 65 machine. Starting to catch up all the slower traffic. Oh, what traffic's going to be a big play here, Marco. This is the time track. This is going to be a huge part in tonight's feature race. These guys are going to have to make their way through traffic cleanly, stay out as rubbers. Here's Walshy's opportunity now. He's gained up a little bit of ground on the backside of Dallison as they go through the 3-4 turn. Dallison's trying to sort himself out. He's going to go high or low Nathan Ramm. He's going to have to search high. Jorgensen's keeping his car on that pole line. He's either going to have to wait it out and wait for a mistake, or he's going to have to search high. But right now he's got his hands moving by. Walsh, we got a battle for the lead. Westland's got company. It comes in the form of Brian Walsh. Big push as he goes through turns 1 and 2. Oh, Davies out. Brady Davies out with the mechanical. He's going to board to the inside. I'm not sure what's wrong there, Nugger. Leading room now for West Jenkins back there in third place on his own. Let's turn our attention, Nathan Ramm back to the front of the... Oh! The leader gives the wall a clout. Nearly the exact same he did last race meeting, Nugger. Oh, no. Oh, no one's out. Jenkins moves to second. Oh, man, that is the last thing we wanted to see from race leader. That leaves Brian Walsh out front all by himself. Oh, man, hard break, Tucker. Yeah, Dallas and Weston just... I don't know what he's going to do. 2 race meetings in a row down the back straight, gets caught out. Oh, there's something wrong with that car. He's sitting third at the moment, and Kingy is all over the back of him. He's a wounded duck. He's staying out there for the point factor. He wants the championship point. Walshy, meantime, he is gone. He's out of there. They still haven't gone through laps. Having distance behind them at the moment. 2 laps to go, and he stays there. He'll be right. We'll see the white flag next time around. Jenkins starting to put the hammer down. You can see that Walsh hasn't tried to pass the slower cars. Jenkins trying to make a show of it. Walsh starting to put his foot in the bucket. 1 lap to go. That 20 laps has absolutely flown by. Jenkins flag out. Feature final win for Brian Walsh. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the NQ3, Brian Walsh. Wes Jenkins in the NQ50 will come home in second. We want to hear the crowd make some noise. Howard in mud from the race leader. Come on down the back straight, put your hands together for him. He wins the Mike Walsh Trophy tonight. Up on the hill, make some noise! Oh, and he has been super quick all night. He has been the benchmark right from the time we started hot lapping here at Cairns. Make some noise for your winner tonight, Brian Walsh. Brian, you've been on a blistering pace all night, almost like you had a point to prove, mate. Got it done in the feature.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I think it was our turn. There's some fast cars here, and tonight we had it, so it's nice. It's real nice.
That's awesome, mate. I've asked everyone all night, how was the track in that final?
Mate, I love the track tonight. Like I said earlier tonight to the guys who did it, it's a big congratulations. Track was good, track was fun, track was challenging. It was awesome.
Some good racing, some of the best we've seen. Who you got to thank for getting you out there and taking out the feature win?
I'll start with the sponsors, like Alexi from Toomey Shrine is amazing. I got, Wholesale Paints, Coppins are in the box tonight, hello. Status Signs and Hennam Street Mufflers. But most of all, my wife, my dad, the crew, they're just amazing what they do for me. But lastly, the competitors, like Weston was quick tonight. That's just bad luck what happened, and I think that race was his at that point. So, but we'll take it how we can get it. So thank you.
Got to be in it to win it. Well done, Brian. Enjoy the win. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for tonight. Put your hands together for Brian Walsh.
On to number 1 in our top 10 highlights for season 2022, and it involves the class super sedans. Nathan Ramm, what have you seen from the super sedans this year? We brought in some big names.
We did, and we've got to give a huge thanks to Peter Wright for actually bringing this class back to Cairns and bringing up a huge number of cars that involved the 4-time and current Australian champion Matty Pascoe and 2011's Australian champion Steve Jordan, aka the Joker.
Now, we got a chance, and you were there too at the preview for the super sedans up for the NQ title, and I got a chance to speak with Matty Pascoe about the upcoming race. Let's just have a quick check-in with Matty Pascoe.
Yeah, it means a lot to us. It's another title that we can chase, and also I'd just like to thank Keith Bruback for offering me the drive to come up here. Our car's ready, the new one, but we just haven't tested it yet, so it was a long way to come to try a new car. So yeah, we're just having a go in the Keith Bruback car, and we've had a few people suggesting that we may start rear and maybe even start a lap down, or there's all different suggestions. But yeah, as long as we make it good and have a good run and just make it good for the crowd really. And this is more of a preparation for next year, because there is talks of having 2 nights in Mareeba and 2 nights in Cairns, like a week apart, so we could spend a week up here in Cairns, and this Colonial Resort could hopefully jump back on board, and we could end up having we could all be staying here and doing like tours during the week, and make it a big family thing, I suppose.
What an awesome privilege it was to have Matty Pascoe and Steve Jordan up here for the NQ titles for the Super Sedans. But that brings us to number 1, and it has to be number 31, Harry Doyle, taking out the NQ titles against these Goliaths. Nathan Ramm, what did you see from the infield?
Oh, I'll say it again, holy dooly. We're saying that all night. I don't think anyone was expecting this. We had 2 Australian champions here who sort of found their way to the front all night. Feature final race came around. Harry Doyle, from around midfield as well, come from behind, found his way through lap traffic, passed both Australian champions, take out the feature race win. It was unbelievable, and it's still the talking point of the year. Everyone's still talking about it.
Absolutely. Now, in those earlier heats, now you said that there was a chance that Matty Pascoe could take a deal and go to the rear of field. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Am I
so
hearing that?
Once the heat races were completed, I had to interview him and see if he wanted to invert the field for the feature final. Straight away he said, nah, looking at the pace of Harry Doyle right now, I'm not going to do it. So he started on the front row. It still wasn't enough.
So in the feature race win, once they were getting deep into lap traffic, Nathan Ramm, Harry Doyle was able to find the gaps. How did that come about?
Well, yeah, the number 10 of Steve Jordan and Matty Pascoe were going at it all race, swapping back and forth the race lead. That actually allowed Harry Doyle to capitalise on it and get right on the rear of these two. They got deep into lap traffic. Both of the front runners made a mistake, and Harry Doyle got a 2-for-1 into the race lead towards the end of the feature final and didn't look back after that.
Absolutely, and he shut the door on a lot of those turns with Matty Pascoe right behind him. The final checkered flag, Pascoe just couldn't believe it. His only option was to sit on the bumper of Harry Doyle as they crossed the finish line.
Yeah, Harry Doyle made that car look as wide as he possibly could on the racetrack, drove defensively in a very mature drive for young Harry.
Absolutely, 18 years of age. He enjoyed his celebrations burnout there, and then came around. Once you interviewed him at the finish line there, could you just sense, could he even understand the enormity of what he achieved?
I don't even think he knew what happened. I don't think the others knew what happened. The crowd was going crazy. All the boys on the infield were going crazy. It was just great to see.
It was a fantastic race. Let's watch now the feature race win, the Super Sedans NQ title with Harry Doyle.
Chandler, unfortunately, the car that's not making the feature. We are set to go. 30 laps of journey. Let's pull the trigger. Oh, Jordan sweeps around the outside and will lead them down the back straight for the first time. Pascoe in the wheel tracks of the Joker. Harry Doyle, a solid third. And Stevie Jordan under fire from Pascoe as they come out of 2. Nose to tail. Pascoe tried to knock on the door. Jordan slammed it in his face. Doyle with the best seat in the house at the moment. The McCosker number 31 machine. Watching 2 of the best. Going out of here at Total Workwear Cairns International Speedway. Doyle throws the wheels in the air on the entry to 1 and 2. Pascoe tucked right up underneath the bumper bar of the number 10 machine of Stevie Jordan. The Pro 1 race parts, number 10 machine. Jordan hailing from Logan City. Pascoe from out of Roybank. Young Harry Doyle will rock hand and rocket. Doing a great job back there in 3rd spot. Stacey Lee's the next one in the queue. Then we go back to Graham Elliott. And Mackenzie rounds him out. Jordan setting the pace at the moment. A 15.292 for Jordan. Quick times at the moment. And Pascoe not far off the pace with a 15.489. Pascoe sits mid-track. Jordan on the bottom. Catfish is the number 10. Trying to make it as wide as possible. Pascoe has a big dive on the outside in the 1 and 2 turn. Fires down the outside. Pascoe starting to make the Pasco lane as he sweeps the top of the racetrack. Almost side by side down the back straight. Jordan's got company, and it just happens to be the national champion. Harry Doyle getting a little closer. Top three in a freight train, nose to tail here at Cairns. Stacey Lee still hanging on the 4th spot. We go back to Graham Elliott and Mackenzie rounds him out. But all the action and eyes are on the front three. Jordan, little bobble as he comes out at 2. Pasco right up near the concrete. Doyle getting closer. Could be the dark horse. These two trip over each other. He's got them. Front three, nose to tail. Pasco has a look at the outside. You don't want to leave the door open too much. Doyle has a look on the inside. Harry Doyle throwing caution to the wind. Pasco mid-track walks up behind Jordan. That allows Doyle now right on the inside. Pasco with enough for Keith Ruback, number 6 machine, to pull around the outside. Jordan leads again at the stripe. Laps winding down. We have 15 in the bank. 15 to go. We are halfway home. The Super Sedan NQ title. The Pro 1 race parts. Number 10 machine of Stevie Jordan, leading from the top of the green. Pasco, no answer at the moment, waiting for the Joker to make the mistake. Doyle's knocked on the door a couple of times. Pasco goes mid-track, looks for the power on the outside. Jordan forces him up a little higher. Harry Doyle having the drive of his life. 2, well, current national champion and ex-national champion. Just out front, Pasco. Asks the question on the outside. Jordan answers on the inside. Pasco looking to box Jordan in. We got a new leader down the back straight. It's the national champion. Blue flags come out to let Graham Elliott know that there's passing going on. Oh, Jordan tries to thread the needle. He helps Harry Doyle out. That puts Pasco from first back to 3rd. Doyle looks on the outside. The rocket. New leader, Harry Doyle. Holy moly. 8 laps to run and the 18-year-old leads. Harry Doyle leads at the stripe. Slower cars. Boxed in, Jordan and Pasco and Doyle jumped on it. Keep your calm, young man. Keep your calm. Sits on the bottom side of the racetrack. He's going to make Jordan and Pasco work for it. 6 laps to run. Harry Doyle, the dark horse. We said it on our walkthrough this afternoon. He could be the cat amongst the pigeons. He's doing it in beautiful style. Doyle leads. The Joker and Pasco. Pasco trying to size up the McCosker 31. The 18-year-old having the drive of his life. Pasco right underneath the bumper barrel Jordan. 3 to go. Bring it hard, Dolly. Jordan gets it all crossed up. Pasco underneath. The national champ now sets Stacey Lee, Ross McKenzie and Graham Elliott can sort themselves out. Cairns, make some noise for Harry Doyle! 18 years of age, holy dolly, he's just set up two of the best. Oh, Nathan Ramm, you will not see better than that.
I don't think anyone saw that coming, Macca. We were talking in the pits earlier. We said he could be a dark horse here tonight. I didn't expect that, but he come from third. He watched him work through traffic and went...
Nathan Ramm, you've got our North Queensland champion!
Harry Doyle, that might just go down as one of the best races we've seen here at the Cairns International Speedway, mate. You come from behind, watched him work through traffic and dice to the lead. Held on to it, mate. You held off a 4-time Australian champion and a premier Australian champion, mate. How do you feel?
Oh, very shocked with that one. I was getting very tired within the first 10 laps. I'd just like to give a big thanks to Mum and Dad, especially Dad, for all the work he does for the car and bringing me to these places. We've travelled all the way from Rockhampton on Friday, so yeah, thank you very much.
Jump out, mate. Enjoy the win, mate. Nobody expected that. That was one hell of a race. Ladies and gentlemen, hands together, the 18-year-old Harry Doyle.
Good on you, buddy.
You got both? Two. Yeah, you got me two, right?
Yeah. Done well.
Grab a word here with our position two. The 4-time Australian champ, Matty Pascoe, mate. Did you expect that?
Yeah, no, he's been driving all good all weekend. So, yeah, they told us, they said, oh, we should make you and Jordo start rear. And I said, we can't do that, Harry's going so good. And he's just proved it to us. So, how good's that?
Bloody awesome, mate. You did well considering it's not your car and you've never driven it. But who you got to thank for getting up here?
Yeah, definitely got to thank Keith Roofback for bringing me up. And, his sponsors, Performax International, the Moon's Earthworks, Graham Silk Race Engines, and and Ty, and for letting me have a go in his car, and Liam and Brad and everyone coming up to help.
That's awesome, mate. We're extremely lucky to have you up here, so thanks for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, hands together, Matty Pascoe. Our feature, third place position getter, mate. That was one hell of a race. You still got to be happy with it. I know it's not probably what you wanted, but it was an awesome race.
Look at when the racing's like that, you don't matter where you finish, sort of thing. That was pretty epic, and I'm pretty sure the crowd thought so too. You know, like we'd go on pretty pacing ourselves there at the beginning, as you sort of see, it was just follow the leader stuff, and then Matty sort of started showing his nose and jumped to the lead and put the pressure on, so we upped the wick, and young Harry Doyle capitalised there and took us both, and how he drove a hell of a race, and congratulations on his win. I bet his old man's pretty proud right now.
Yeah, he's pretty young to the super sedan scene. I think you boys are going to have your hands full here in the near future, but it's good to see you up here, and I hope to see you back next year.
Yeah, no, that's what it's all about. We need these young guys to jump in. Us old blokes have sort of got our use-by dates already there, so big thank you to my crew, me Shannon and his family, Charlene and Paige, me partner Romy, and me little one Ariana for coming. The boys that have helped me in previous shows up here in Cairns, home with COVID, I do hope they get better soon and sort of see them up here at the next show maybe, you know.
It's bloody awesome. Hands together, Steve Jordan, position number 3 here tonight. Macca, unbelievable.
3 of the absolute best right there, a future superstar and 2 absolute legends of the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 cheers for Harry Doyle. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! Our new North Queensland champion. Absolutely brilliant, the Rockhampton Rocket, and as we both said there, Nathan, holy Doyle.
I don't think I've ever seen the crowd stick around this far after behind the racing. That just goes to show how epic that race was, and yeah, can't thank these guys for coming up enough from down south.
Well, we still got another feature to come yet, young man, and it is the class that has certainly been belting the hell out of each other all night, hasn't it?
Well, there you have it, the Totally Workwear Cairns International Speedway top 10 highlights for season 2022. Nathan, can you wait for season 2023?
Oh, after this year, it's definitely going to be a season to remember. People are still talking about all the action that's happened this year. I can't wait to be back here next year.
Well, we can't wait for it to start. From all of us here at the Totally Workwear Cairns International Speedway, we're looking forward to next year. Thanks for watching.